Hey, welcome to 24 Chambers of Film. Today we got another trailer reaction, a new A24 film, one half of the Safdie brothers starring The Rock, the Smashing Machine, which is based on a true MMA fighter story, Mark Kerr, and he fought in the UFC, Pride FC. But yeah, it's The Rock, I think, attempting to not be The Rock in a movie.
Typical Hollywood superstar, action superstar.
Yeah, he's well, just like not to just try to feel something different besides his persona, which of his recent
Yeah.
films, it just feels like you're watching The Rock. So yeah, let's get into this, and we'll discuss it after seeing the trailer for the Smashing Machine. So yeah, let's get into this. You
All
ready?
right. Counting down.
3, 2, 1, go.
Probably looking at my eyes.
How did that happen?
Well, have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC?
That's the bloody thing they're trying to ban.
This guy is the best he has ever seen.
Do you hate each other when you fight?
Absolutely not.
How do you know Mark Kerr?
Oh, we go way back. But he's a buddy of mine.
Come on, baby.
Ryan
Too
Bader.
much?
Never.
Too much?
No.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be playing Mark Coleman.
What's her name? Emily Blunt, right?
Winning is the best feeling there is.
Emily Blunt, yeah.
It's 40,000 people,
Yeah.
and they're cheering you on. There's no other high like it in the world. No contract, no money?
No money.
Do you have any stronger pain medication?
Advil?
Advil?
Yeah.
Don, would
Like
you
right there in that scene where he's
bending
lifting
him
that weight,
out?
like that looked just like Mark Kerr.
Let's all get in. Let's all, everybody get in. Hey, Don, can you take this picture for us?
Yeah.
What are you thinking at the beginning of the fight?
It's simple. Am I going to hurt him before he hurts me?
Usyk.
This Grand Prix to crown the greatest fighter in the world. He has come back
I wonder if Usyk is playing Igor Vovchanchyn.
pull out a victory over Mark Coleman.
I think Usyk's playing Vovchanchyn.
Have you spoken to either about fighting such a good friend for a life-changing amount of money?
I just need you to let me in.
Always about you. Only about fighting you.
Like right there, that's crazy shot when he's off right
Let's
there.
fucking
Look,
go.
like,
It looks like Marker,
Yeah.
Marker right there.
right there, see, it doesn't look as good in that last shot, but like,
You also,
Think
The
he
Rock
wants
has
your
such a
autograph.
distinct
Sure,
type
no
of head.
problem. No fighting.
Okay, October 3rd. You want me to go, or you want to go first?
dude, I mean, I was gonna watch this movie from when it was first announced, just because I don't know if you ever seen the documentary, The Smashing Machine on Mark Kerr.
I've seen pieces of it. I haven't been able to see the whole thing yet. It's hard to find. I have to look it
It's
up.
really,
at one of the,
really, it's
I
really,
gotta look
really
it up at one of
good,
the
and
one of the legal streaming sites or something, bro. Because I've seen pieces of it on YouTube, but it looks intense and looks like
it's
kind of
really,
like
really good. It goes
basically.
it basically leads up all to his first professional loss,
Yeah.
and if you know the story about Mark Kerr, like talk about just like a downfall, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
and the guy, was obviously on steroids.
Hmm.
He was fighting hurt. He was using steroids to help him fight hurt, and just like his career, just like a lot of those guys early on, right? Like they did it where they weren't able to capitalize when the UFC became the UFC,
Yeah, kind of
and
self-sabotaging his career
yeah,
too, right?
and but I am, what? Like when I saw the picture, like because they released some stills originally,
Hmm.
I wasn't like too impressed, and then watching the trailer, there's moments that it looks very, very good
Yeah.
with like the makeup on The Rock. And there's some where I'm like, it doesn't look that good, but it's like just shifts back and forth.
I don't think it ever
I
looks
think,
bad. I think it's just more like sometimes it's like, oh, okay, it's not like there's times like where
well,
it looks like,
sometimes
wow, he looks like
it
Mark
looks
Kerr,
like,
and then it's
yeah,
like, okay, I
and then
see
there's
The
other
Rock in
times,
there. I think the
yeah,
best thing, the thing that really sells it is what they did with his brows, because Mark Kerr has those very distinct like kind of brows that are
Yeah,
like
he's
a
got
little
a
bit
kind of
swollen.
like
Yeah, they're kind of like over
it's
and
like
there's
a little bit extended or something
yeah,
like.
it's like it just seems like they're very like inflated, and I think like I was into before, like we're both into combat sports, and we're very familiar with Mark Kerr. I mean, I hope they have that knockout when he knocks out that fool Greg. That one dude that he gives that knee to the face in the UFC. That one dude that's like Greg.
Oh
So
yeah, the guy.
I forgot his last name, but that's one of the most hilarious like mismatches of all time. And I hope they have that in
Yeah.
the film because that'd be a
Uh,
chef's kiss in my opinion if they have that. If you haven't seen
and
it,
they
it's like
have
one of the
they have him do the walk too. That'd be the best part. That
yeah.
guy
That
do
guy's
the
just like I'm like, bro, this guy's DOA. But yeah, if
yeah.
they have that in the movie, I mean, that's giving it easy like extra points for sure.
Greg Stott. Greg Scott
Greg
is his
Scott,
name.
that's what it is. Yeah, Greg Scott. Yeah, that
No,
yeah.
Greg
You can
Stott.
see it in like
Stott.
you.
Stott.
Greg what?
Stott.
Oh, Greg
Stott.
Stott. Yeah, you can see those
You
in like
can't you can't let people
UFC.
look up Greg Scott.
Yeah,
Then they're gonna
Greg
look up the wrong
Stott.
guy.
You could
Greg
also just
Stott.
find it in the UFC Ultimate Knockouts 1 and 2, and he's in there. You'll see it, and you can't miss it. The guy's like a shrimp compared to
I
Mark Kerr.
I feel like they're gonna have to show it because it was a 17-second knockout. So I feel like if they're
It's
as they're trying to build them up,
it's one of his best knockouts for sure.
yeah, they're gonna highlight that. And that was because he
I'm
won
his
what the back-to-back tournaments, and that was
yeah
the second tournament. That was the opening fight in the second tournament. He won back-to-back.
yeah.
So they're gonna have to showcase that. There's no way that they don't showcase that.
Definitely. No, and look, like I said, this is one half of the Safdie brothers who directed Uncut Gems, Good Times, uh, Only Heaven Knows What. Like they're very talented directors. They have a really good gritty style, and I feel like for this story, for Mark Kerr's story, I feel like at least he seems like he's tackling it. He seems like it's going to be gritty. It's not overly polished. It looks like I think it's shot on 16 millimeter if I'm correct, but it looks really good visually. I'm excited to see all the Pride stuff. Uh,
I'll tell you what though, like I feel like there could have been a better casting than The Rock.
oh, I'm sure.
100%.
Yes, for sure, for
But
sure.
you know what? I feel like if it wasn't for The Rock wanting to tell Mark Kerr's story wouldn't be a
Wouldn't
movie.
it getting told? I
So
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
so you got to give him credit for that. And if that
And,
means that he
and,
has to play Mark Kerr, then that means he has to play Mark
and
Kerr.
and and you know what? And I'm not at the end of the day seeing the trailer. I'm not mad about it. Even I appreciate that he at least attempted to kind of alter his voice to be softer because Mark Kerr doesn't have like
Yeah.
a deep voice. He's kind of like a
No,
soft
you
spoken,
hear his
higher
voice, it
pitched
doesn't match the
voice.
look.
Yeah. He does not. It's exactly one of those guys you hear talking like, oh wow, that guy. I did not expect that voice to come out of him. And it looks like Dwayne, the Rock Johnson, wanted to at least embody that a little bit. He didn't go full trying to make a full voice of Mark Kerr, but he definitely doesn't sound like completely like the Rock how you're used to seeing. He's softer, a little bit higher pitch. So it looks like he put the effort in as well. Besides the makeup, and Emily Blunt.
And if you're
Blunt
like
looks
an
really
MMA,
good. Go
if
ahead.
you're an MMA fan, you're going to be looking for the cameos for sure in this movie because I feel like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Usyk is playing Igor Vunchenchin.
okay.
Um,
I said
and that's got to be his best. I think that's his best victory. Mark Kerr's.
he didn't beat Voshanskin. Remember Voshanskin TKO'd him, but then it was ruled a no contest because it was before the knees
You're
were
right.
legal.
You're right. You're right. That's you're right. But that was like his best moment, even though it wasn't like a. Because then
What do you mean?
no. Who was the one?
It
No,
was ruled.
I'm thinking of Mark Coleman when Mark Coleman need the shit out of Vunchenchin. Remember? Who was the person that need Vunchenchin? I think it was Mark Coleman, not Mark Kerr. You're right. You're right. My bad. I was getting them confused.
I know Mark Kerr didn't beat Voshanshin at all. That was technically his first loss, and then it got overturned.
That's right.
And then he lost. He lost the rematch, but that was later because then his first loss came to I think Kazuchika Fujita or something like that.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of Mark Coleman because they have the same belt.
Yeah, it was Mark Coleman.
But he does those like knees to Vunchenchin. So my bad. My apologies. But yes, I do remember now that because I did when I did hear about this movie, I kind of looked into it again, Mark Kerr's stats and everything. I mean, the guy started off like great, and then it is like a really big downfall for sure. But yeah, part of it has to do with just the guy's mental state of mind and just kind of self sabotaging his career and obviously substance abuse is in there, of course. But yeah,
then they got to make the Igor Vunchanshin movie after this with Usyk because that guy a lot of the guys early on in MMA, dude, they were just like, you look at them and they're not like now in MMA. You just have athletes, like guys that
Hmm.
are athletes. Before you had guys that were just
They're just
they
tough
were different. They
fighters.
were
Yeah,
just
yeah,
different,
yeah.
you know.
Igor's probably the best to come out of that generation because he actually evolved his game and got better, even though he wasn't like.
And he was severely undersized.
And he was fighting at heavyweight for most of it, but he was sleeping people. He's
Yeah,
underrated. I think if they would have had 205 longer or 185, he could have had a way better career than he ended up having. He still had a really great career in my opinion, but it could have been like way better. Because yeah, he was a way too small of a heavyweight. But
so
the trailer.
I'm definitely watching this in
What do you think of the
theaters for
trailer?
sure.
Yeah,
The
okay, yeah,
trailer was good. I mean,
yeah.
if you don't know anything about him, I think it does enough to potentially entice you. Look, when it comes to like boxing movies and things like that, you either like to watch them or you don't like to watch them. I think it's
Hmm.
very, very hard to convince
Yeah.
someone who doesn't like them to go watch them. So if someone's just like, I'm looking for a good movie, I think it's done enough. It has the big names,
Hmm.
right? It has something that's very popular now, which is the UFC. So
And
I
you have
think,
The Rock.
yeah, I think an average person could get enticed. Although some people might not even be able to tell it's The Rock until it tells you that it's The Rock. You
The
know,
Rock,
like
yeah.
because
I
of his
feel
face.
like that's gonna
But they did a good job
yeah,
casting Emily Blunt because she's a big name
yeah.
and
I,
people,
I mean, The
recognize her.
Rock is the real key for this movie's success. I think people who are just fans of him are gonna know about it because he's gonna blast it on his social media and stuff like that. They're gonna know about it, and also people who are just interested in seeing him in something where he doesn't seem like The Rock, how you're used to seeing him. I think that's going to bring people. And then obviously you got A24 and you got people who like the Safdie brothers, Uncut Gems and stuff like that. I think there's a lot working for it, and I think it has a good chance to be pretty successful. I think obviously it just depends on.
You can just give him the fucking Oscar already, dude.
Well, he's going for it for sure, and I think the trailer doesn't overdo it, but it gives you a little good a peek at okay, there might be some really good moments with the Rock in there showing some acting range. We've both been fans of the Rock, and we both have mentioned that we think he's a good actor that's just kind of put himself in this certain type of genres, type of movies.
When you're fucking as huge as him, like there's only
Yeah,
so
and it
many
makes
roles
sense,
like I think people will believe you
and it makes
in.
sense. But I think when he started off his career, besides like Scorpion King, he attempted a few like movies that weren't really like part of his wheelhouse. What ended up being like the movie Southland Tales, which I think he's great in, honestly. And then Be Cool, which is a comedic one. He played a little bit something different, even though
I
it's still
think
kind
he
of
took that more because they offered him the role, and he's like, "What am I
yeah.
going to say no to a star-studded movie?" That was
Exactly,
because he was
yeah.
a
But I'm
nobody
saying like
in
he could
Hollywood
have
yet.
he chose to go a different route, and I think now I think he also has the Martin Scorsese movie that he's starring in, the gangster movie that he's going to
I
star in
had
the
no
yeah
idea.
after this. So he's got two movies now that are definitely not in his normal type of
See, like
approach.
I'll tell you right now, you tell me him in a Martin Scorsese movie,
Yeah,
and I can't even like picture him in that
I
movie
have to
because
kind of see it. Yeah, but I
he
know that
has
the
like
movie
such
takes
a
place in Hawaii, so it deals with like crime in Hawaii and stuff like that. So at least it's kind
even
of
then, dude. He just looks so ridiculous because of how big and
yeah,
buff
yeah.
he is that it's like
I mean, to me, the last great
I
movie
don't
that
know.
he did, like this may be his, this may take it over, but the my favorite movie of The Rock is Pain and Gain. That's my personal favorite, and I feel like he was great in
Pain
that
and Gain is
movie
good,
because
and that
it
was
fit
definitely a
his
little bit different for him.
yeah, and the movie is like yeah, it wasn't like cookie cutter and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, this trailer I'm all for it, and I'm all for seeing this movie, which August is not too far away, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it in theaters, like you said. You're gonna watch it in theaters. If you're an MMA guy, I feel like you're gonna probably check it out. Um, so yeah, I think it looks solid and looks like it could be great.
Yeah, no, it
Hopefully,
looks
worth.
good. I'm gonna try to go watch it in theaters for sure. Yeah, it just looks is one of the few movies where I've known about it for quite some time now, and
Yeah, yeah.
I was just waiting for it
He
to come
announced it
out.
at that UFC press conference like almost like 4 years ago, right? Or something like
Yeah, it's
three
been a
years ago.
while. Yeah,
It's
it's been
like
a
I
while.
was waiting for it when I finally heard that it was coming. I was like, oh shit, thank God. I thought this shit got lost in the development hell or something like that. So
Yeah,
that's dope that it's finally out.
yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Are you up for The Rock in a different type of role? Are you? Does this trailer? If you're not an MMA fan or care, not necessarily that you're not a fan, but it's not a big thing for you. Like, is this enough for you to go see it? Is The Rock's name enough? The Safdie. I don't even know which Safdie brother is it.
Benny Safdie.
Okay, is having the Safdie name attached to it enough? Let us know in the comments. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Thank you for watching. I'm Nathan. This is Steven, and we're 24 Chambers of Film. Until next time.